Aye, shepherd's pie, greetings from the Philippines. Welcome back to the channel. Coffee and a chat time. Going to talk about probably the most interesting expat I ever met. I'm not sure if he's still with us, God bless him, but I'm going to change his name because if he's still, I mean, he was 72 when I knew him, and he's going back a few years, but so he might not still be with us. But just in case he is, I'll change the name. So when I was living up in Bangpakbu in Thailand, there weren't many expats there, as I've said in like previous videos. There were a few scattered around in other villages. I think there was 2 in my village by the time I left. Didn't know them. Didn't move in the expat circles, but there was one English guy I knew. His name's Ryan, good lad, really good lad. He was a bit too much of a naughty boy for me though. He was always out on the lash and doing other things which were illegal. I'm not going to go into more details. But he liked drinking. Anyway, he was a good lad and I liked him. So I didn't spend that much time with him because he was a bit of a wild boy and I was in a relationship, you know. But anyway, I valued his opinion. And he did used to move in the expat circles. And he said to me one day he met this guy who just moved in to a couple of villages down, and he was a really good bloke. And he started telling me about him. So he was a professional hunter and he'd been in Australia shooting wild boars and all this kind of shit. And I'm thinking, well, I'm not going to like him. I don't like that. I'm very lily-livered. You know, I don't like killing things. I'm typically a hypocrite. I'll eat meat and all that, but I don't like, you know, the idea of killing things for fun. You know, anyway, I digress. So anyway, he told me about this guy. He said he's a really good guy and all that, and he was helping him set up his computer, and I should meet him. I wasn't particularly keen on doing it, so I didn't really mix with the expats. The few I'd met there, I wasn't particularly fond of. So anyway, one day we're down the local resort. It was a little hotel called Homelands, which was a few villages down, and that had like a swimming pool. So you'd often go there for drinks at the weekend or that kind of thing, or sometimes at night. I'd gone down there with Ryan. We're sitting there with a couple of beers, and then this guy's on the other table. He comes in, and he joins us. And I got talking to him. And he's a really good bloke, really good bloke, really good. We didn't talk about hunting. I didn't ask. That was, you know, just didn't come up conversation. Anyway, I got on the bike when I was going back. Well, I said he's a good bloke. He is, really liked him. He's from London. Can't remember which part. So anyway, a few days later, I'm down there in this old swimming pool with my girlfriend, and he comes in. And he was complaining that Ryan was supposed to come round and help him set up his computer and all that kind of stuff, set up his email and things. I said, well, I'll do that for you, mate. You know, don't worry about it. And he said, well, if you come round, you've got to have dinner on. My wife makes this stew. The heavens are about to open now, so it might be too loud. We'll crack on. If it's too loud, you'll never see this video. So anyway, we went round there. And we became friends. But every time I went out with him, he would tell me something more interesting. He always had an interesting story. And a lot of them about his hunting days and things. And he had the chance to go fishing one day in Pattaya before he flew back one time. And he'd go out on his boat, this guy, and do some fishing. And he said to me, but I'm not going to do it. I said, why not? He said, because I'll never be able to eat the fish before I go back. And I was like, well, someone else will eat them. And he's like, no, I never kill anything I'm not going to eat. And that was his rule. You know, he would only kill it if he ate it. And I thought, I can relate to that. You know, he's not doing it for the fun. Anyway, looks like the old rain subsided. So I get to talk with him one day, and he told me so many fascinating stories. The video would be an hour long. But I was asking him about his wife, who'd ever been married in his life in the UK, and he basically said that he was a bit of a bastard in his early days. He used to, like, you know, shag around and that. Wasn't faithful, was a hell of a womanizer. And I said, well, that don't surprise me, Dale, because Dale, anyway, pretend I never said that. I said, that don't surprise me. You know, because he was doing that then. And he was a rogue, I tell you, he was a right rogue. Because I had an old mate called Steve, I've mentioned him in other videos. And this guy, let's call him Daniel. Okay, we'll call him Daniel. he asked him one day, because he was 72, he said, how do you get all these women? Like, he was always going on dates and things, even though he had a girlfriend, he was a naughty boy. And he said, what I do is I go to the local supermarket, Big C or Tesco Lotus they got there. He said, I just wander around looking confused. I just look confused and just really confused, and the women will come over and help you to find stuff. And you know, I get the numbers and it works that way. That's how I meet most of them. Or I look around the car park confused, like I've lost a car, and someone will come and help me. And taking this with a pinch of salt, I'm laughing. But a few weeks after that, I'm in the old food court with my girlfriend, and we're having a meal, and she says, oh, there's, we call him Daniel McDaniel's over there. And I looked over, and he was a way away, and I said, yeah, he is. Obviously, if he was going to come in there, I'd have said hello to him, but he was like, you know, other end of the food court. And a minute later, he says, you better go and help him, because he looks confused. And I'm watching him, and he's walking around like this, like he hasn't got a clue what he's doing. And she says, go and help him. I said, he doesn't need my help. She said, he's confused. How come he's never been here before? He doesn't know. I said, look, he's not confused. Eat your food. Don't worry about it. We did. And then he comes in, and we see him, so I had to say hello, like, and then she said, Daniel, you look confused, you look confused. Oh, no, I've not really been here before, I don't know where I'm going. He went there every bloody day, that was his MO. Anyway, what I found fascinating about him was, we were talking one day, and he was telling me about, I asked him about his wife in the UK, so they'd been split up a number of years, and he had some family, some kids, but they didn't keep in touch with him. And I said to him, like, you know, why don't the kids keep in touch with us? Well, because I don't like my womanising and all that. I said, so you've always been like this, have you? He said, no. I was like it, but I had an accident, and I think he was in his 50s or 60s when he had this accident. He dived into a swimming pool, he broke his neck, and he would have died, but the air ambulance, the air helicopter, God, the wind's picking up now, got a cyclone coming, but the air ambulance picked him up, whipped him to the hospital, they saved his life. They thought he was never going to walk again because he was paralysed, but the operation was such a success, they got him there so well, he recovered, and because of that he found God, and he decided, he promised himself he would be the best husband that he could possibly be. And I think it was for 5 years or 6 years he never played away, you know, he made a point of like looking after his kids better and all the rest of that. And then one day he was reading the paper and he saw that the helicopter crew, I'm not sure all of them, but certainly the doctor and the pilot or whatever that had saved him had died in a fatal air crash, and had all been killed. And he looked at it, he read the paper, said, in that moment, there is no God, doesn't believe any of it, told his wife he was leaving her. Then a month later he was living in Thailand, and his ambition was to shag as many women as he can before he dies. And he's never stopped since that point. I'll tell you now, if he's still alive, he'll be doing that somewhere, whether it's in Cambodia or if he's in Thailand. But he's sitting there telling me that story, and I'm thinking, my gosh, that's incredible. I mean, to go from that to that to that, I mean, the thought process and the way you justify things in your mind, I don't know. Oh, here we go. Right, anyway, I'll end the story now. Actually, no, I won't. I'll add one little bit, another little funny story he told me. I said, how did you make the money then to come out here? You know, the hunting game must be real good, like. And he got a job in London. I can't remember which estate it was. Culling deer. And the deal was, he had to cull so many deer per season, and he was allowed to keep the meat. So he was doing it, and he did it for like a couple of weeks, and realised that no one was paying any attention to him. Whoever owned the land, I don't know if it was a national trust or it was some rich family or guy, I don't know. But he realised no one was watching what he was doing. So he put an advert in the London Loop that you could get, I think it was £1,000 a day or something like that, people could come and he set up these hides and things, and he was charging £1,000 a day for people to come in pairs. Each person's like £2 a pop, might have been more now, he said the average was two, to do his job for him. They would shoot the deer, he'd let them have the antlers, and he'd keep the meat himself. And he was doing that for like 18 months. He reckons he made 150 grand on the side from running these trips. And no one batted an eyelid. No one knew, something just came up on the screen there. You know what he was doing. As I say, he was a rogue, he really was. But lovely guy. I only had the pleasure of knowing him for a few months, but yeah, he was interesting. I hope he's happy somewhere, and if he's not, I hope he's happy up there looking down, doing whatever he does up there. I know God weren't too hard on him for changing his mind. Right, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Be lucky. Thanks for watching.